I'm Mahdi Shaheeb Sher. My website is www.mahdishaheebsher.com. I think one of my interests in the world as Mahdi Shaheeb Sher is Hollywood. I think Hollywood does need to change now. I think that it's done a lot of damage in the world with how film and cinema is being represented in the world. I think over the past 15 years, we've lost a lot of the DVDs that were the main format for viewing films. I think that's quite an important change. That's one of the important changes that Hollywood has introduced. And I think because we've lost DVDs, we've kind of lost film distribution in a certain way. I think we've replaced DVDs with kind of Netflix and Prime Video and various other kind of video streaming apps. And video streaming itself has some kind of concerns about illegality. So I think there's some kind of an issue with video streaming as the main distribution for Hollywood films. I think we do need DVDs to view films, and I think that the loss of the CD and the DVD with computers and films as well is quite a lot of damage in terms of how Hollywood is in the world. So I think that Hollywood has changed in a certain way because of that. If you look at how Hollywood and the world was with all of its films around the world, I think when we had DVDs, it was quite user-friendly and it was friendly for viewers. I think with the loss of DVDs, people are turning to things like Netflix, and that makes these companies very powerful. I think Netflix itself could be more powerful than maybe Hollywood itself because it seems to monopolize film distribution. It earns something like $250 billion a year, so it can also produce its own films, which is kind of sidetracking the role of Hollywood itself as well. I think Netflix has a budget of maybe $10 billion a year to produce its own films. So I think that's quite a dangerous development because Netflix, at the end of the day, is a video streaming service, and it's an app as well. It's not a physical store. It doesn't have DVDs. And I think that for film viewing, Hollywood viewing, including the TV viewing that we've taken for granted for a long period of time, I think for that to be concentrated in video streaming format is kind of concentrating it in a different way, and it is a little bit concerning. But I think over the past 15 years we've also lost half of cinema as well. I don't think people go visit the cinema anymore, and I think that's probably because people are also turning to Netflix and video streaming services. So I think these video streaming services are very powerful now. I think most of them are based in Australia, Netflix and so forth. And it's also the format that it costs £10 a month to view as many films as you want, and that could be quite contentious because I think people like paying for films and good quality films, and it shouldn't so much be a subscription service to watch films. I think people have developed very well going to the cinema to watch films and buying or renting DVDs. So I think we are looking at a significant change in the industry of film, and including Hollywood. I think it's affecting its actors as well, because I think most of the actors we have in Hollywood could be maybe Netflix actors or maybe kind of related to films we're used to seeing on Netflix. So Netflix is quite an important part of film in the world, and I think that it's a little bit daunting to see a lot of the actors kind of being swept away, because we have these new companies like Netflix and Amazon DVD and Prime Video. I think there's quite a few. I think there's maybe 10 or more of these video streaming services, and it costs £10 to £15 a month, and you can watch as many films as you want. So I think that's kind of muddled up the film industry in Hollywood. And in terms of how people view the world through films and Hollywood, it is quite an important issue to discuss. I think a lot of people view the world by what they see through films and media and newspapers and magazines. So it is an important issue to deal with. But I think the other interesting thing about how Hollywood has developed over the past 15 years is the actor George Clooney. I think he's married a Muslim lawyer from Great Britain, and that seems slightly circumstantial or unusual. I think for George Clooney to marry a Muslim lawyer, he's also kind of indicating how Hollywood actors are being swept away by new changes in the film industry and by the types of films that people watch now. So that's slightly concerning. And there's other developments, like the fact that most of these actors, like Robert De Niro and Al Pacino, are very rude, aggressive people. They have no politeness or sympathy with common everyday people. They like to act tough in a very aggressive and maybe rude way. So I think we have problems, behaviour problems, with some of these actors as well. And that's not very encouraging or positive. So I think there's that issue. But one of the most significant, I think, trends to come out of the film industry is female violence. I think before Hollywood, before 20 years ago was quite sedated and accommodating. But I think with Bridget Jones and films like Tomb Raider and maybe other female-orientated gender rights type films, we've had an influx of female violence, which can be seen right across the world, but in particular Western countries. I think if you look at the behaviour of Western women, there is a lot of female violence now, and I think Hollywood is to blame for that as well. There's no such thing as female violence. I think for Hollywood to have created a condition in the world where there's an influx of female violence or a presence of female violence is upsetting the gender balance within the world. So I think we do have a problem with female violence as well. And I think that's another interesting thing about Hollywood. But of course, the films we're seeing are also maybe some of the conqueror films as well, like Alexander the Great or 300, or maybe films about Napoleon, Genghis Khan. I think that's another trend. We're seeing kind of more historical films come out of Hollywood, and that's an interesting development as well. So I think we do have some of these quite interesting new films that have kind of reorientated how people are kind of appreciating films. And I think that's quite important as well. So I think that Hollywood is changing very significantly, and I think that it does need to be encouraged to change. However, I think it does need to retain its valuable things like cinema and DVDs, and maybe the blockbuster stores as well, something like that. I think those are the important things that we need to retain with Hollywood. And I think that's one of the important things about Hollywood. Thank you very much.